these wide receivers have been criminally underdrafted. And look, like I went into this draft, especially like second and third, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be taking some running backs because the hit rate's going to be higher. But some of these guys, like, I mean, let's talk about Malachi Corley real quick. Malachi Corley is a guy that, in my opinion, is the wide receiver 2 on the Jets. And I know historically when you're talking about the last... Is it? Let us know in the comments if you think, like, because I get Mike Williams is there, but like, are we really going to bet on Mike Williams being healthy for a full season? Do you really want to bet on that? You sure about that?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, Malachi Corley was the favorite to be the wide receiver 2 on a Jets team that, yeah, historically, when you're the wide receiver 2 on this team behind Garrett Wilson, you're not getting any volume. Yes, we know that. But this year, and everybody says this year it's different, but it actually could be different because you have Aaron Rodgers coming back. Aaron Rodgers thinks he's playing at a high level. Whether he's not, we'll see. Wants to play for a couple more years. But what we know is that Jets offense, if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there, is going to pass the ball more. Is going to be more dynamic. You're going to have Breece Hall on the ground. You're going to have Aaron Rodgers slinging the ball. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing behind an improved offensive line. I don't expect him to tear his Achilles in the first game of the season, on the first drive of the season, like the second play of the season. I don't expect that. But
are they playing on real grass to start the season?
Yeah, that's a big question that we have to get
He
answered.
might be screwed.
But with
if
Malachi Corley, Malachi Corley went, what was his draft pick again?
3rd round, 1st overall.
So he was
first pick in the 3rd round.
He was legit,
really weird.
one pick away from being a second-round wide receiver talent. He really was a second-round wide receiver talent that slid into the beginning of the 3rd. Because I think NFL teams highly regarded Malachi Corley as one of the better wide receiver prospects in the draft. He's 22 years old. He played at WKU, and he was very productive there. I mean, and you're looking at what he was able to do at the combine. It's not like he had like a bad process or anything. He was a fairly good prospect. He's not the most athletic guy, and he's 5'11", 215, and I think that his ability to run routes, his ability to get open and demand targets is going to be something that's going to play to his advantage in New York, and I think he'll actually have the targets there this year.
Yes.
That's what I think. I think that's a huge thing for him.
Yeah. Everyone knows he's a huge yak guy at this point too, so it's not going to take like some phenomenal route running, some phenomenal like wide receiver dominance on his end to be super great. Honestly, he can just kind of count on Garrett Wilson taking a lot of the attention and being a dominant wide receiver in his own right, and then Rodgers, when he's under pressure, can just dump it off to Malachi Corley, and Corley can make something out of nothing.
But here's the kicker, and we get to this every time we talk about a buy, is his price.
Yes.
You're getting him in the third, mid-third.
I've seen him fall as far as I think the 310.
But I've gotten him in the 3rd, I think 3 times.
Yeah.
Out of my 5 or 6 leagues. Like, that's really good price for a guy who's, I mean, from an opportunity standpoint, the opportunity is better than most of the wide receivers you're drafting in that range. And, you know, I've screamed in the running back, in the 3rd you're taking running backs, in the 3rd you're taking running backs. But if Malachi Corley's there, I'm taking Malachi Corley over any of the running backs that aren't Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson. Absolutely. I mean, I think he deserves it too. The draft capital, the prospect profile, and the opportunity in the team situation all points me to believe that Malachi Corley will be productive, meaning he's going to have a value jump in Dynasty over this next year. And if that is true, then you're getting him literally, I mean, 3rd round value is really cheap.
Yeah.
So
due to his skill set and the amount of volume that Aaron Rodgers, from a passing perspective, is going to provide there, how many targets do you think is reasonable to expect from Corley this year?
90 to 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what, like 6 targets a game?
Yeah. I mean, for reference, Josh Downs got 98 targets last year.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at a similar production type season. Where did Josh Downs go in Dynasty after the season? He was the wide receiver 32, right?
Yeah. I think he got as high as 28.
And Malachi Corley is being ranked where in Dynasty? Like, he's the wide receiver 67 right now. Even if Malachi Corley jumps up to the wide receiver 45 at some point in the season, you're talking about like a big value jump there. So this is a play the market, but it's also like this guy could produce. This guy could produce.
I mean, dang near a 2nd round pick, and we're taking Troy Franklin over him. Some people are crazy enough to take,
I've seen that.
Some people are taking
times.
Brendan Rice over him. Like, why?
Yeah.
Brendan Rice might not even make the team.
Corley was the inspiration for this video, but we figured out that there are even more wide receivers that fit this bill.
Dude, I love how much we talk down on Xavier Legette from a price perspective and just public opinion on him going into the draft. And then he gets this draft capital that a bunch of people not named us expected. 1st round draft capital to a really solid landing spot with a lot of opportunity upside, and he starts falling to the end of the 2nd round in rookie drafts. What happened? Did we miss something? Because, like, for me, it's not about my emotions and my opinion on Xavier Legette. If he's falling to the mid or end of the 2nd round, which is consistently happening, it's a smash. Like, auto draft. auto draft. Just give me Leggett all day. I don't care. I seriously don't. Like, what better situation could you have asked for a developing quarterback in Bryce Young? Bryce Young. I'm like breaking up. Bryce Young. Dave Canales is like the quarterback wizard. Every quarterback he touches turns to gold. Geno Smith, he comes there. He's really, really good. Top 10 quarterback from like a...
Geno was a backup for like 5 years before that.
10 years. A decade. He was in the league for a decade. And then he comes out of nowhere and is a top 10 quarterback. Canales leaves. Geno not as good. Baker was irrelevant. He was on 3 different teams in 1 year. Canales turns into gold. This year, what am I willing to bet? That Baker's probably not going to be as good and that Bryce is going to take a huge step up. What's that going to mean? The wide receivers in that offense are going to have a really, really nice time. That's Deontay Johnson is your possession wide receiver who's going to be the number 1 target option there. And then Xavier Leggett, who is the deep threat that Bryce Young has yet to have. And now he has him.
Now, whether Bryce Young has the time to throw deep or not is another question. But at the same time, again, you're talking about...
You cannot pass up on the draft capital.
It is so funny that everybody's like, he's going to get first-round draft capital. He was going like early second, and we're like, no. And then we end up being wrong, and we're like, oh, we're wrong. Let's adjust. And everybody goes and flip-flops
the opposite
us.
way.
We're like, where are you going? It is funny.
If Xavier Leggett had gotten day two draft capital like we had expected, like late second or early third, I would have considered taking him at the end of the second. Even then, now he's going in that range with first round draft capital. We could be having the same discussion. We don't even have this guy in the video plan, but like Ricky Pearsall, I don't care if Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk are in San Francisco going into 2024. If both of them are there. San Fran just drafted Ricky Pearsall way higher than everyone expected, and he's falling to the middle of the third round at times.
You've seen him go in the third?
Yes. What? Yes. I've been answering a lot of rookie draft questions over at flockfantasy.com/domain with our supporters. Use code domain. You have to use code domain. And those people are also people that we do team blueprints for, and we gave them advice going into their rookie drafts, and they're using that advice. They're taking advantage. They're playing the market so that they can win their leagues because they want to win money, and money is cool. Hey. And if you want one of those team blueprints, you can head over to flockfantasy.com/domain. You have to use code domain, sign up for the Mother Flocker tier, and you get exclusive access to us. You can ask us questions, slide into our DMs, ask us follow-up questions. After we give you your blueprint, you can submit whatever roster you want. You get one free team blueprint when you sign up for the Mother Flocker tier using code domain at flockfantasy.com/domain. You also get all of our exclusives, videos, articles, rankings, all that jazz. So look, with Xavier Leggett, not even a question for me. Like I don't even know what reason I have for Leggett. I don't have to provide any other reasons for him or Pearsall going at the end of the second round other than they have first round draft capital. It shouldn't even be a question for you.
Nathan got all fired up right there. That's kind of fun. Let's talk about Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk's a guy like you're like, oh, like where did Jalen Polk go in the draft?
This took some convincing for you early too, because you were like, I don't know because of Javon Baker, and I was like, yeah, I don't know because of Javon Baker. But then Baker's price has been going up and Polk's has been going down.
Yeah, but it's like okay, where he was picked 37? It's like 37. Wow, that's
like early second.
That's like pretty good. And it's like, yeah, he's like almost a first round talent. Drafted to be Drake May's wide receiver 1. Mm-hmm. And so I thought surely, I'm like Jalen Polk, with that draft capital being one of the highest wide receivers off the board, he's definitely going to be drafted early second, mid second. And I'm just going to be like, yeah, I'd rather take guys like Trey Benson there. I'd rather take Keon Coleman, rather maybe even take Adonai Mitchell, maybe. But then it's like Jalen Polk, you're getting him at the 210 to 212. And I'm like,
yes, auto draft. These are all auto drafts. And honestly, Polk, I feel like is a guy where he was that unexpected receiver. You remember you and I before the draft, we kept like trying to get ourselves ready. Like here we go. What are some of the guys that you think aren't going to get good draft capital but end up getting way better draft capital than you initially thought? Yeah. And Jalen Polk, unfortunately, was not our prediction there. But he ended up being that guy who gets early second round draft capital. And honestly, maybe this is just a mess up by the Dynasty community where from a prospect perspective, evaluation perspective, like maybe we just missed and maybe Jalen Polk was this good and this talented as a prospect. And it wouldn't surprise me at all. And honestly, like there have been some people in the community, like I want to shout out Land. I want to shout out Zach over at Dynasty Land. Like he's been all over Polk for months.
Yeah.
All over him. Like I always thought insanely high, like way too high on Jalen Polk. I was like, he's never going to go that high.
Check.
And check. Like he was right. He was one of those guys. And there were other people out there too. Like actual scouts in the NFL who like Jalen
Back
Polk.
in the day, I had a Jalen Polk run there for a minute.
Yes, yeah, you did.
We have it on our channel even.
Yeah.
There was a time where I was like, I think he's the clear guy out of help me, gosh dang it, Washington.
Yeah,
because we're talking
Washington.
like McMillan and Polk.
And I was always a McMillan guy.
Yeah, and so we were kind of split, and so I kind of like planted my flag, and then I never really went anywhere with it, which of course I'm not disappointed about. Like I don't need to hit on every single prospect that I like, but at the same time, I don't really care about that because really when you see where the wide receivers are drafted in the NFL and kind of how this video was shaped, we're like, okay, here's the guy who was drafted. Here are the top 10 guys. Here are the top 15 guys. Here are the first round guys. Here are the second round. Here are the late seconds. Here are the day 3 guys. And then we kind of like rank them like that. And then we're like, okay, we'll move this guy 1 spot, or we'll rank this guy 2 spots higher because the situation's good. Or this guy's a little bit overdrafted, so we'll move him 1 spot. But what the Dynasty community does is they're like, oh, this guy's a second rounder. Let's move him way back here because we hate his situation. Oh, this guy's a 4th rounder and he got drafted by the Broncos. He's playing with the college quarterback. Here, let's yank him up here. And so we're like, whoa, let's chill. What you'll notice is this is where the Dynasty community has overcorrected the draft capital rankings and the draft capital insulation for their situational or talent preferences. Honestly, it's just opinions. And when you're talking about draft capital is objective. And so we start with draft capital and we kind of move based on our own little tweaks. But with Dynasty community, these are guys that they've taken them way out of position in terms of like where they were drafted and saying like, yeah, this guy's really bad, or yeah, this guy's not that good. And Jalen Polk's one that honestly should be up at the beginning of the second of Dynasty rookie drafts, and he has been pulled down a whole round. It's great. It's a great price. See what you can get for him. See if you can get him in a trade for something cheap.
Can I start this next guy?
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, well, it's your turn.
Okay, so you obviously at this point are seeing a common trend, and it's like Avery said, it's those guys that get good draft capital and they get pulled down, and this is going to be another guy who, okay, I have my own personal opinion on this guy. I don't want to give you his full name because I don't want your opinion of him based off of what I'm saying to warp what you're gonna think going forward.
Mystery player.
So good old Luke, just your standard Luke. I mean,
like not our video editor,
Luke,
but
he's awesome
another
too.
Luke, yeah,
but another Luke. So Lukey boy goes second round, or sorry, he goes day 2. He goes 3rd round.
Okay.
Day 2 draft capital.
Okay.
And to a landing spot that, is not incredible. And honestly, a landing spot that I'm really low on. I'm like, are you really going to compete with Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin and Ben Sinnott? At the end of the day, good old Luke is kind of just the last guy that I'm betting on to really make a dent in that offense from a production perspective.
I mean, theoretically, you could just say, you know what? I think he may have been drafted because of his name. And so maybe because of that, like, I'll just, I'll take my chances on some other guys in that range.
Yeah, but in fairness, like Luke McCaffrey, who we're talking about, brother of Christian McCaffrey, probably didn't go in the 3rd round, drafted by an NFL team because of the family, right? Because this is an NFL team, and you would expect more from an NFL team.
If there were 5 NFL franchises,
unless they're the Atlanta Falcons,
or honestly, the Commanders. Like there are like 5 franchises that'd be like, actually,
all your opinions, good and bad, about Luke McCaffrey, throw him in a trash bag, in a trash can. Take him outside, throw him away, wave at the trash man, and let all those worries be dumped away because you're getting Luke McCaffrey for free in the middle of the 4th round. Why
do you wave
would
at your
you
trash
pass
guy? Do you like stand outside and wave at him? That's weird. There's a reason they're trash guys. They don't want to talk to you and they don't want to see you. Just let them take your trash.
Yeah, okay, that's fine too. Just put Luke McCaffrey on the curb, or your issues with him. Just put him on the curb. Don't wave at the trash man and just walk away. And take Luke McCaffrey for free in the middle of the 4th round. It is not even close. He is the dead last day 2 asset that's going in that range. There's no one even close.
No, there's not.
There's no one even close.
So I keep getting to the 4th round, and I'm like, I can take a running back shot, and then I'm like, no!
It's like a take your medicine guy. I mean, the guys that are going around him in that range, they're your day 3 running backs where some of them probably won't even make the team. I'm talking about Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen went to the same team. One of them's probably going to get cut. Like Ray Davis, running back 2 behind James Cook. Who else am I missing? There's so many other guys.
I feel like if I keep giving you guys,
I like Kimani Vidal, and he could lose the job. I know that Luke McCaffrey is going to be on Washington for a significant amount of time. I would never bet that he's going to do anything there. And my voice is like,
I was going to say,
cracking right now.
You are
I'm just really
Jacked
fired up
on
about
Mountain
this
Dew right now.
dude. Luke McCaffrey, like, I can't even believe I'm saying this. Take your medicine and take him in the 4th round, and just move on. Like, stash him,
that's
please.
just what I've been doing. Like, again, I've been getting to the 4th, and I'm like, oh, I could take a shot on this running back, or I could take a shot on this running back, and I'm like, wait a second. I got a day 2 wide receiver here.
In fairness, I may have taken it a little too far. You don't need to wave to your trash man.
No, you don't.
You're just take the worries to the curb.
That's a whole different discussion. But again, like, trash guys are really mostly introverted people. If you're a trash guy, let us know in the comments.
If you're extroverted, let us know.
My trash day was today, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, I had a lot of trash. So.
I don't know what day my trash day is. Because it's a big dumpster.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So,
I remember those days. Every time I'd go to the dumpster at the apartments, it'd be full. It drove me nuts.
Rip.
Drove me nuts. And the last guy on this list, actually, you know what? I know this is dangerous because he might have a stroke on the show, but I'm going to let Nathan talk about this guy as well because this is a Nathan guy. So as long as you don't yell.
Yeah, so I've been in a position where I've had like anywhere from the it's all right. Anywhere from like the 410, 411, 412 in my rookie drafts. And Jacob Cowing has just been sitting there, and there's been like this sixth sense that I've had where like Jacob Cowing, his name is just looking back at me at the screen, and it's like, Nathan.
See, I can't say I've ever had a sixth sense about
like I know
the 412 Dynasty rookie draft.
And for some reason, I just have this feeling that I'm going to miss out on some opportunity to accumulate value if I don't keep picking Jacob Cowing.
The trash guy's at my front door right now.
No way.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at us.
Wave at him.
Look at it. I can't. It's a ring.
Oh, shoot, you're right. Yeah, my bad. Well, anyways, with Cowing, for some reason, not for some reason, there are reasons that I can't stop drafting him at the end of the 4th round. For example, number 1, he's free. Okay, you're literally getting him as Mr. Irrelevant. Number 2, Brendan Rice, who got 7th round draft capital, is going a round and a half ahead of Jacob Cowing, who got 5th round draft capital and had multiple years of hyper productive seasons in Arizona. Like 2 1,000+ yard seasons, and I think a 900-yard season.
Let's compare those
year.
two guys. Question number 1: is Jacob Cowing Jerry Rice's son?
No.
Then I'm taking Brendan Rice.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, if that's your reason, I guess you can go with that too. But at the end of the day, do you want to take a situation where Jacob Cowing is going into an offense with Kyle Shanahan, who has historically taken nothing burgers and guys that have done 0 in college production-wise, and they end up producing and being somewhat relevant for a stretch in that offense? Yeah, it's happened. Do they end up having a ton of value? No. Does Jacob Cowing have that potential? There's a chance. It's very, very small. It's very, very minuscule. But why not take a shot on him in that situation with Kyle Shanahan?
Well, the thing is, like,
at the end of the 4th round,
when you're trading for Jacob Cowing,
he has 5th round draft capital. It's really solid.
You might give up waiver dollars for him. Like,
exactly.
Because he might. Yeah. And honestly, this may not be like a trade for. This might be like waiver this player because he's probably a waiver guy.
Yep.
So, and again, like, are you ever going to find a Dynasty channel where somebody gets that excited about a waiver guy? No, you won't. So make sure you like this video.
Not as excited as Xavier Legette, which is hilarious.
How the turntables.
The turns table so much.
That's kind of funny. Now, next video we record, he's going to be dead. I know it. All right, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you head to flockfantasy.com/domain. Get a team blueprint. Get one-on-one advice. We'd love to see you over there. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you later.